I've got to say, listening to that guy just then, that barefoot, I mean, like the Buddha before, who said that he wasn't going to leave the earth plane until all suffering had been alleviated. It's a bit silly, isn't it, really? Because you're always going to have suffering. This is the way it goes, but we can work to dispel it, and as much as we can dispel it, the more we can, the better. Because what I'm seeing, well, actually what I'm seeing, I'll tell you what I'm seeing with my eyes right now. I'm sitting in a super-duper VIP, luxury, ridiculous, mad palace on a hill in the forest of the south part of the beach, just south of the airport. Well, actually, the airport kind of somewhere down there in front with the sea and all that business. And there's a storm coming in from the mainland, not a heavy one at the moment anyway, which is a relief because it has been like about 38 degrees here, which is, you know, lovely, but slightly slows you down a tad. And I'm here to promote the latest music project to the industry through a few key players, and as a result of that I found myself at various parties and stuff, as you do here, and one of which was an opening of the Beach House, which is a friend of mine, Jonathan. I mean, it's a very lovely place, which Hollywood itself could not have possibly replicated that scene. It was the quintessential Ibiza, we are very beautiful people having an amazing time scene. And it's fascinating. I've lived here for 4 years, so I know the runs, and you get to learn that it's all theatre, all of it's theatre. And because I do what I do and people know me here, it's quite common for people to just come up and start talking to me properly, as opposed to the bullshit, you know. And it's really clear, I don't know any of that's proof, but it's really clear that when you look at everybody, I mean, and it's especially poignant when it's all the really super duper rich, clever, beautiful people. There's so much pain, there's so much suffering under the surface. And one guy that I know, and he is a multi, hundreds of multi-million air guy with his own plane. I went for a ride in his plane once. He's not a close friend of mine, a lovely guy. And he wasn't on anything, but he was like trembling behind his mask, behind the face. I could actually see it because I'm sensitive to that. He was actually trembling there's some sort of fear of everyone. And I realized, I mean, everyone's terrified of each other. And it's all a mask, all this kind of, we're having a great time thing, you know, and stuff. It's a great one, it's beautiful theatre, but underneath it all is the existential pain, the suffering, the conflict, the confusion, the fear, and every single person on the planet has it. And you know why? It's because we're angels, and we're really sensitive beings of light that have come from some other dimension, taken form in the human body, and it's rough here, man. It's rough. Nature in the material plane is very, very rough. The week before I was in Stromboli watching that volcano erupt. That doesn't take any prisoners. And you look at galaxies colliding, if you ever get the chance. I mean, they don't mess around either. It's powerful. You know, being in the material plane, it's a powerful, there's a lot of powerful forces acting on each other all the time, and everything's in motion, and anything can happen at any time, and it's ferocious. And so when we are these sensitive light beings, which we are, the pain of being looked at askance by our mother, for example, she might not even know she did it, or being ill-treated by a teacher at kindergarten, or being betrayed by a friend in primary school, or whatever, you know, the stuff that causes us to shrivel, contract, and become less than we are, and close down the angel nature, close over the heart, and feel separated from everyone and start judging other people. They're the good guys, we're the bad guys, or they're the bad guys, we're the good guys, isn't it? And the us and them thing, and it's so easy to find proof of all that wherever you look. But really we are, all of us, fallen angels, and this is the time for us to start rising up again. That's what my job's all about, and has been for 40 or more years. It's just to see my fellow angels and say, come, let's rise up. Let's straighten up that beautiful body and uncrumple those wings, those invisible wings, because they're really mashed up there. And the more and more of us that are waking up now to our angelic nature, I mean, you can use any metaphor you like. You can call it alien nature, you can call it divine nature, you can call it your infinite nature. It doesn't matter. Words are just words, and even though people hold great store in them. as we wake up to what we really are, there's something very, very beautiful happening, and I know you're feeling it. We're coming together like we're doing here right now, amazingly, magically, all the way around the world. We're doing that in face-to-face life as well. It's happening more and more. The connections are working. People are talking from the heart much more easily. And this is offset by some extraordinarily callous, cruel and brutal acts of stupidity, I call it. I mean, to be in a stupor to the extent that you no longer value life, other people's lives. Yeah, that's an angel that's fallen all the way down, and somehow or other needs some kind of help to come up. And we can't stop that. We can't stop it with all the intelligence, with all the goodwill in the world, with all the education, with all whatever we try, with force, with weather. You cannot stop that. The only thing we can do is to spread kindness like a contagion. Now, I don't want to bring you down. This is why I don't usually mention these things. And I'm not a news freak, but I do check every day on a few websites, just headlines, so I know what's going on. And my main thing is, it's definitely not the gossip. I'm not interested in people's stories of the horrible, nasty, bringing people down stories and all the horrible misfortunes people are going through on a personal level. Those I ignore, because that's just not what I want to focus on. Generally, I focus on the geopolitical stories, just so I can see what power moves are and try and discern some kind of picture of what's happening to the family on the planet, what we're angling at now. The economics, of course, you know, because there's a major food crisis coming, and amongst other major crises we're about to face and bang head into. You know, just all that, so I can be ready, really, to help people with. But then there are certain things that catch my eye. I feel compelled to read. There's a boat carrying, what I discerned from reading the story was about 90 guys, all men, from northern Africa into Sicily, an illegal one. And there were two tiers of steerage, you could, or whatever you call it, passage rather. You could go on the deck, and they found, like, you know, 45 or so people sitting shoulder to shoulder, cramped up in this pretty small space on deck. They were all right. But what had happened is that they'd hit a storm, and below deck, at the lower level, the lower stratum, where you didn't pay so much, bearing in mind they were all getting ripped off really badly by the guys that were smuggling them over. And they've got families at home and kids and all the rest of it, and they're going to Europe to make their way so they can support their beloveds at home. The lower bit, they closed the hatch. Somebody had closed the hatch because the water was getting in, as I understood it, something like that, and the people were trying to get out of there. And the guys on deck felt that if they got up on deck too, it would unbalance the boat and they'd all be in the sea, which is, you know, you can understand that. But what they did is they closed the hatch and didn't open it, and they were screaming down there after a while because it was so many people in a small space, and then the screams after a while died away and they were all dead. 45 dead bodies suffocated to death. I mean, fuck. It makes me bright talking about it. I mean, how can we treat each other like that? And so then I think to myself, well, you know, firstly, then they say there's a definite kind of division between the two economic strata there. You know, the ones that can afford the upper deck and the lower deck, and the ones in the upper deck, it's like, fuck them. They're like animals. I don't care about them. Let them die. We're not having our lives threatened by them. And you know, you can relate to that, I suppose. Nobody wants to die. We know that, but I think there would be another way, a third way, like maybe, I don't know what, but you've got to, sure, you can't let your brothers die down there, can you? You've got to sort of let them up and make the best of it, and if it tips over, then you've got to hang on to bits together and stuff. I don't know. It just seems to me really, really, really cruel, and you can't stop that cruelty. That's, like I said, all we can do is let the kindness spread like a contagion. Now, in my own personal process, I'm always dealing with that. It's the juxtaposition on the one side of the altruistic, really natural, innate altruistic urge to help everybody, and for nothing, just to help. I just want to help, because that's what I do. And then the what do you call it, the narcissistic aspect, which is, hey, wait a minute, no, you know, what about me? That's not right, is that? And all that stuff. And I've noticed myself over the years the more that I've got into this system that I teach with this meditation we do here, this dropping into the back and all the rest, and the heart opens, the more naturally I am inclined to just want to help and to trust that my adventure will repay me by looking after me in return. And to roll with that as much as I can with an open, pure heart. This happens naturally, not from trying to be a nice guy or trying to be a good guy or any of that stuff. It just happens with the practice. It's part of it. And the effect of it so far, the more I get into it this way, which is exponentially growing, is that my life, the experience of my adventure is growing exponentially more magnificent, more enjoyable for me. It doesn't mean there are any outward signs of that. It's not about showing off or anything ostentatious. Wow, look at me. You'll notice I never stick stuff on Facebook about where I've already. Other people maybe I never do. I'm not doing that, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me thing. Because I did all that once and just it seemed to arouse a lot of envy, and that's horrible. It's just being the subject of people's envy is just a horrible, horrible thing because it can be really destructive. And I don't do that. It's not the narcissist in me. I'm not saying, hey, I'm really clever. It's not about that. I just want to help everybody and I want to make it beautiful. And I can't say that it's made it would be something my band manager would necessarily sort of encourage, because it does tend to make things a little bit sloppy around the edges. But the adventure, which is what it's all about, seems to roll way better the more I let go and just give it. So this is what I am promoting on our behalf today, this sense that if we just let go of the egocentric agenda and allow our innate kindness to flow. Now, I will also say that this isn't about being nice. For example, I've also noticed that the more I get in this role, it seems the more busy I get anyway, which would be obvious, wouldn't it? More people asking for help and so on. The less time I've got to piss around. I've stopped doing, hey dear, in my business letters, dear so-and-so, kind regards, warm wishes, and all that nonsense that people do at the end of it, because I just haven't got time. And it's like nothing wrong with that. I kind of think it's okay to, you have to be all nice about it. It's not about being nice. It's about genuinely being of service, being kind. And kindness, as you probably heard me say before, has the root of kin or kindred, which means family. It comes from understanding that we are a kind, that we are a family, and that if we have any shred of decency and love in us, surely we want to take care of our family. Now that's the same for even the biggest villain. They want to take care of their family too. There's nothing different in that. It's what I meant before, is we're already our angels. It's just a matter of opening up the vision quite a lot to understand that the family is not just the nuclear one or even the extended one. It's the entire human race. That's the family. And there's a lot of people that think, so what, fuck them, it doesn't matter, we don't need them, but we do. We're all completely and utterly interdependent. So, I mean, I sat on this boat in the south of France with one of the richest guys I ever met, and he wasn't smart in the sense of globally intelligent. He just knew how to do the thing he knew how to do incredibly well. He knew all the Jedi moves, and he'd made, ridiculous amounts of money. And he was a nice enough guy, very affable, but kind of ignorant and crude. And I was saying to him, I was just wanting to get into conversation beyond how clever he was and how rich he was. And I said to him, this was in the heart of the financial crisis, right when it was really going strong. I said, does it ever worry you? Because if the people without the money really don't have any money and the whole thing grinds to a halt, there'll be no system to support your life either. It's not just going to be possible to be the super rich on your own. It isn't going to happen. We all need each other. So what do you feel about all those people? He goes, fuck them. And that was genuine. I mean, that was how he felt. I thought, whoa, that is the way he rolls, and that works for him, but that's what we're dealing with here. Now, I can't change him. Maybe my interaction with him had some effect. It was positive. I really don't know. But I could change him. I presume to. It's none of my business. That's his karma. That's how he rolls. But what I can do is I can promote kindness wherever I go, and I do. And that's a beautiful way of going, because when you're willing to help anyone and everyone along the way, like they are your grandma or your grandpa or your son or your brother, whatever it is, it creates beautiful interactions along the road, and people, the smiles you get and the genuine appreciation, not for everybody. Some people are too lost in their thing to really get the significance of what's happened, but that's not the point. You're not doing it for that. You're just doing it because you're doing it, because that's what you do when you're a good family person. You do take care of it, of the family. It just happens naturally. And that's not from, again, I sound contradictory, you're not a good family person. What I'm talking about is being centered in yourself, so you know that you are the angel. That's what an angel does. It goes around and helps its fellow angels. It's just instinctual. Hey, so this is it. This is what we've got to do. However, we can't do that until we start being truly kind to ourselves, which is almost sounding like an anodyne cliche now because it's been thrown around so much. But it's fundamentally significant, radically important. And being kind to yourself actually requires, at first, having the supreme sensitivity, incisiveness, and vigilance to be able to spot how, at the pretty much unconscious level, you are being unkind to yourself, because you've got to spot it before you can shift it. And with all the work I've done over the decades, there still lingers a layer. I mean, obviously there will. It doesn't matter how much work you do. There'll always be the layer of the self-punishing aspect. That's part of the game. That's what makes it fun. But there's this layer, and I noticed it before. It's like it will be saying, you're no good. You know, it doesn't matter what you do. Yeah, I want to do that. Oh, it's going to be very hard for you because you're no good. Or, you know, you're not really kind of good enough, so you really need to just kind of pretend that you are good enough, or you need to cover that up, or do this, or do that, or do this, or that. It's going on at a very, very subtle, insidious level that almost impossible to catch. It's just because I'm trained in psychotherapy and in hypnotherapy. I can discern what's occurring at that level in my mind very quickly, watch it go by. And I just have to assure you it's not the main part. So it's not how I'm rolling actively, cognitively. I'm generally rolling with a very positive, optimistic view with a relatively high amount of self-esteem. In a supple, flexible, resilient way, not in a bullshit way, because that's rigid. But I have to spot that constantly. It's not that I have to analyze each, or you have to analyze each little horrible thing you've said to yourself, but that you're aware you're doing it in the first place. And then to start to train yourself to, I guess it's take the time in a way, but you can do this while doing other things, to cut into that compulsive bit of self-punishment and to remind yourself that you're beautiful and that you really like you, that you really like hanging out with you, that you're really fun, that you're really replete with all the wonderful qualities of existence, and your company is magnificent, and the adventure that you're on is a beautiful adventure, and that even though you don't get everything perfect, nobody does, you do your best, and everything you do is kind of pretty good, and you are contributing good things to the world, and just with your smile or the way you walk around or whatever. And that, you know, the interactions that you have with people enrich them, and so on and so forth. You know, in other words, you big yourself up to yourself, but you do it genuinely and you do it frequently. You don't have to do it for long, but you do it with enough repetition for it to establish itself as a pillar of positivity, of self-esteem in the mind. This is really, really important, and it will be demonstrated in the way, like say you were in love with somebody and you were hanging out with them, like if in my guest house here, I'm on my own, I'm having this love affair with me here with my adventure. It's very easy, very beautiful. If I was sharing it with a lover, I'd be taking care of them. No, not all the time, because I could be a selfish git as well, but most of the time I'd be saying, you know, should I get you something? Do you want some tea? Okay, come for, going to make you do this, going to do that. You know, the stuff we do for each other. And I would make sure, to the best of my ability, that they were enjoying themselves, and they felt comfortable with themselves and with me. And it's the same, to do that with yourself, so that you make sure that if you need to go and have a massage or a haircut or whatever it is you need as an act of self-togetherness, as you call it, you do it. You make the time for it. You put that as a priority, that you need to stop and rest and walk and talk and do whatever you need to do. You make that your priority rather than running to keep up with some imaginary kind of challenge that's been set at you, which actually hasn't been set at you. I think I've made that point. And then the kindness that you feel generally, which somehow arises from that, wants to share itself, wants to spread itself. Like I say, it's a force, it's a contagion, and it will spread. We only think that the evil spreads more powerfully and faster because it's more spectacular and it gets reported in the media. Kindness is not so visible. You don't really, there's nothing spectacular about kindness most of the time. It's just a smile that someone gives. It's not like that person's going to machine gun down 50 people so it gets in the news, which is horrific and disgusting, sensationalist. It's just somebody smiled at somebody and probably saved their life. Who knows? That would get reports, people knows it, but it doesn't mean that the force isn't as powerful. In fact, I would go as far as to say that the power of kindness, love in other words, is more powerful than the other. But even if it's just 50-50, that's good enough for me. We got to be on the side of the kindness and keep radiating that out stronger and stronger. It's the only chance we've got. As I say, it starts with being kind to ourselves. So this is the time. I can feel it when I take that sigh. Slow it all down. I do talk fast at the beginning because it's almost like a technique in a way to because I'm excited to roll that, and then when you do stop it and you slow the tempo, it's like stilling, isn't it? It certainly is for me. This is meditation. People often don't realize that, so I'm saying it. This is meditation. Close your eyes, let go of the world. It won't go anywhere, don't worry, it won't leave you behind. And become aware of what is occurring inside your skin. You've got all the movement of the blood and the fluid. You've got the muscles in various states of tension and release. You've got the skeletal structure in various states of alignment or non-alignment. You have your nervous system firing off with more or less efficiency around the body, sending messages to and fro from the brain. You have the sense organs, which are perceiving and interpreting or receiving a mass of signals from the outside, and the brain is, the relevant aspects of the brain are translating that into some kind of perception, some sort of description. You've got the heartbeat, you've got lungs moving and the noise of that, you've got the intestines, the peristaltic motion, the bladder and all the other bits and pieces in there. And get a feeling of what it's like being you right now. What's you feeling like in there? How comfortable is it? Don't do anything to change it. Just observe some kind of mental note about, I'm feeling like that in here. And how is this in here thing feeling with what's outside of you? How do you feel in relation to all of that? How easy are you sitting with it all? How easy are you sitting with the fact that there's a few hundred people around you here in the ether, connected by whatever it is we're connected by, Wi-Fi? How is it feeling to be in concert with an entire cosmos, an entire multiverse for all we know, with all the various dimensions, with all the various potential entities in the different dimensions? How's it feeling being you right now in this universe? And now coming to option time, to exercise some options. Firstly, move into the front of your body where you normally sit, where you're up front in the vehicle and you're very close to the outside. You're so close you could touch it. And it's very noisy up here in the front. There's tension in the belly. The breath is being held a little bit, and the heart is a little bit constricted, throat likewise, genital area likewise, soles of the feet probably a bit too, a bit of the forearms as well maybe, elbows and that. Back of the neck probably a little bit tense. Front of the brain very, very busy, working with those descriptions that the sense organs have inducted in for processing in the brain, and describing reality, meditation, people, voices, things, ideas, whatever, constant conversation, very noisy in there. And this is where we normally spend our time, in this drama-filled, noisy front of the body, with all its vulnerability and weakness and so on. And now, exercise your divine right and become the king or the queen of no matter what by sitting back in the throne, by which I mean, picture that your shoulder blades in front of your spine and your rib, pelvic bones and sacrum are comprising the very well constructed back of a throne, and that your sit bones beneath your buttocks are comprising the seat of this very well constructed throne. And you, being the king or the queen of no matter what, now act like one, and you sit right back inside. You sit back against the back of the throne, and you let your weight sink down into the seat of the throne. You don't have to waste energy holding yourself up, in other words. And if you just tilt your head back just a little bit so that the back of your head is resting on the headrest that they've thoughtfully provided with this throne, and allow, or rather don't stop your mind from sliding backwards on the floor of the skull, so to speak, until it is sitting, nestling up against the rear wall of the skull, you'll notice that immediately, if you can stay here just for a moment or two, that you feel much more grounded and still and silent and smooth, and the whole quality of being you has taken on a new, expanded quality to it, something richer and deeper and more silent, as I say. The front of you is now much more under your command, so tell your solar plexus area to relax and get your breathing to slow right down and become smoother and more silken, and feel as you slow your breathing down how your mind slows down with it, and how when the breathing becomes more like silk, the mind takes on a more silken quality too. So there's something quite silken about it all now. And get the feeling that your crown is being winched up a little bit towards the sky, which is causing your spinal column to elongate, to unfurl and elongate. This in turn allows you to drop your shoulders. Now, I said you're an angel. Visualize a big, heavy angel wing attached to each shoulder blade. They're invisible, but nonetheless solid and substantial. And the weight of the wings is pulling your shoulders down and then broadening the shoulder girdle. To support this, you allow your sit bones to slide apart from each other so that you've got more width across the pelvic girdle. And you'll notice now that you're broader and longer and deeper from sinking back. There's already a major quantum improvement of conditions, a lot more space for no more rent. Now, with the skeletal structure optimized like that, or I would say raise your breastbone just a tiny fraction, kind of upwards and forwards like a king or a queen. Get it up your chest up. Rise up to it as beautiful as you do that. Now, with the structure expanded, optimized, you can now afford to allow all the muscles from the crown of your head, the tiny ones in the skull and the face, and then the bigger ones in the sides and backs of the neck and the throat, and the shoulders and the shoulder blades and the arms, the sides, the front, and all the way down the back, the buttocks, the genital area, pelvic floor, backs of the legs, sides of the legs, fronts of the legs, all the way down to the feet and the toes, all the way down the arms to your fingers. Just tell everything to soften completely, and nothing bad's going to happen. You soften everything, and you'll notice you feel a lot more relaxed. This is already being a lot kinder to yourself. Maintaining this as you work, rest and play from day to day is, again, being much, much kinder to yourself. To increase the kindness sensation, visualize the two halves of your breastbone opening like a pair of sliding doors to reveal in the very core of your chest your beautiful, beautiful beating heart. See it like a cluster of precious jewels of rubies and gold, emitting an otherworldly light, a rose gold vapor, imbued with the most fantastic power to heal whomever it touches, and impregnated with the most gorgeous, gorgeous otherworldly fragrance. A healing fragrance, a soothing fragrance, an enlivening fragrance, an encouraging and inspiring and uplifting fragrance. And as you sit all the way back inside, feeling rather superb, with your heart open, and this goodness, this beautiful love, this gorgeous essence of you, radiating freely to everyone in our circle, and beyond to everyone on the planet, without exception. As you sit here doing this, become aware that the force, the power that made you and makes you be here, the Tao, the God, whatever you want to call it, utterly adores it when you're feeling like this, because it then finally gets to experience itself in you. Because this, in the back, what you're doing now is it. That's it, and it is you. It's all of us. And it's very happy that we've come together to do this right now, because it needs us to instigate this new wave of kindness. As you breathe in, it's telling us, feel a streak of light roll right up the rear of your spine, to the crown of your head. As you breathe out, feel that streak of light roll down front of the spine, causing a loop of light, streaking light, which is there to protect you. Can you see that? At the core of your being, a streak of brilliant light running up the rear of your spine to the crown, and then rolling down the front of the spine to the perineum. And that is your protection. That protects your spirit body. Because we're now going to do something big. We're now going to do an act of service. We're now together collectively going to instigate a new wave, tidal wave eventually, of kindness. So as you sit here in the ether with me and with all of us, see us as archangels. Let's go up a level. We've been promoted. We are these amazing, massive, beautiful archangels. And our wings are kind of flapping about a little bit behind us because in anticipation it's exciting where we are. And we feel ourselves as archangels all connected at the heart level. All our hearts are open. All of us sitting back in our thrones inside. So we're all powerful, very powerful, all of us. And we're breathing and breathing in and breathing out. And as we breathe out each time, it kind of squeezes a few drops of this rose gold vapor kind of forwards into a collective kind of cauldron-y type big bowl thing that's in our midst. And doing it drop by drop by drop. It's not really drops, you know what I'm saying, I can't really get the words for it, until the bowl is filling up quite notably with this amazing rose gold vapor. It's kind of semi-fluid, semi-gaseous, and smells beautiful. It's gorgeous, and you can feel the sensation of it like the morning dew, impregnated with the golden elixir of life running to every cell in your human body, making you feel alive and new and well and excited to be part of this. And you're breathing in and you're breathing out from deep inside of you, very powerful, unmovable inside, yet flexible and resilient and adaptive and ready for whatever's coming. And as you breathe in, you breathe out. With every out-breath, you're squeezing more and more drops from your heart center into this big bowl, which is filling very quickly now. And it's causing such a reaction inside the bowl that it's a little bit scary almost. We were surprised. We were not expecting it to be quite like this. It's kind of bubbling. And something's happening by the mixing of all our essences, all our love, inside this bowl. And a kind of an explosion occurs, like the volcano going on. And there is then this explosion of energy into the ether from our midst, going all around us, which is reaching out a bit like a nuclear explosion would be, but benign, in kind of like contour lines, ever-expanding concentric circles from our circle. And certainly going all the way around the planet. That's the easy bit. From there it goes all the way out through the universe. But the bit we're concerned with right now is our planet, and trusting that it will rebound everywhere else that needs it. Right now, our planet is being covered, as we keep breathing out, being covered in this vapor that is healing everyone it touches. And this is a very powerful, powerful force moving out. It's quite tangible at some deep level. And this is the force of our collective kindness. What we're doing now is we're instigating a flow of kindness. It's affecting each of us independently, individually, and it's affecting the collective right now. And it doesn't matter who anyone is. It doesn't matter how up their asses or selfish or stupid they may be. They cannot resist this, because it is like a flu virus, a really super strong flu virus, except it is benign, it's positive, it's healing. No one is able to resist it. And just like a flu pandemic spreads quite slowly at first, this does too, it seems to, and then all of a sudden it has reached absolutely everyone on the planet. So that over the next hours and days and weeks, you will notice that people in your world are increasingly acting more kindly, and that the people who are acting unkindly are becoming more and more the exception, to the point that when they're feeling like that, they almost feel embarrassed to be unkind because they realize something's up. Hey, this isn't acceptable anymore. This isn't happening. Kindness is now the thing. That's it. So the message is kindness is now the thing. That's the new movement, the new fashion, the new look. And everybody wants to have the new look. So you get this sense that we've instigated a new look. The look is kindness. The look is that when we're dealing with others, we do so kindly. These are our family members, and we have compassion for everybody. We take no joy, no schadenfreude in seeing the suffering of others. We stop blaming, we stop punishing, we stop seeking revenge, and by we start opening our hearts and just purely giving from an impulse to serve, to make it better, to alleviate and dispel all pain and suffering. And yeah, we live in a yin-yang world, and we will never achieve utopia. However, it is our role as the awake ones to instigate more and more kindness, because that is the only antidote to the other. I will now let us sit in silence together and just let this sink in and appreciate the magnificence of the gift that we have being alive as we are us, able to do this right now in anticipation of the amazing gifts, the rewards that will come back to each of us as a result of doing this. Think about those rewards if you like while sitting in silence, but also think about everyone on the planet, all our brothers and sisters, and send this, make sure this sense of kindness is just radiating with full force from us all to everybody. I'm here. When, as you start coming back and you start appreciating that what we're dealing with when you come back is other people, and one of the things that you notice here in Ibiza is because people are, people are a bit hung up, everybody. It's not just here, it's everywhere. People hung up about themselves. Everybody, somehow suspects that they're not good enough and what have you. So when you are kind to someone who's not feeling good about themselves, they may find it hard to accept. But don't be fooled by that. Don't be stopped by people's barriers from their low self-esteem to receiving kindness. Just let your kindness go right through that, radiate through it to the presence in them. This is the mission now. Don't do kind stuff. It's not about doing kind stuff. That'll happen naturally. Just feel kindness. Let the kindness radiate from your heart. And you'll be held to do kind things. It's not the things. Of course it is. That's how we gauge reality, I suppose. But it's the impulse behind the things we do. And that's what we've just done now. We've instigated a most beautiful impulse. And I thank you deeply from the bottom of my heart for helping facilitate us doing so. Because without you, it wouldn't be possible. Well, it would, but you wouldn't know it was happening, so it would be a shame. Wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers, wriggle your nose, wriggle your ears if you can. Shake your body around a little bit, breathe, open your eyes when ready, and this is now the Q&A section of the thing, which I now pass us over to Sue to do.
Hola.
There you are. What do you think of that?
Fantastic. Powerful stuff.
Thank you. Thank you. Ibiza does that to us, does it not?
It does.
Yeah, of course. Us two are here at the same time. We've actually had one of the best internet connections ever, which is ridiculously paradoxical.
Well, we have a few questions already for you, Stephen. And the first one is from Marina, who's asking how to energize meridians or chakras with the energy of kindness. And do you have a suggestion for a small exercise to practice for kindness anytime, any place?
Rowena, that's nice. How do you breathe kindness? Well, I think that I could come up with 800 different answers to this, but how about this one? Because you're talking about exercise, you're talking about a weight, a trick to help you focus, really, isn't there? If you imagine, if you're right-handed, if you're left-handed, use the left hand. You imagine your right arm as the sort of giver of kindness. This is only symbolic, okay? This is not dogma. Just don't you get me? This is just me making this up based on Taoist sort of practices. So you've got your right arm, if that's your dominant arm, and you could either visualize or have your finger pointing forward or your hand pointing forward as if you're giving a blessing to somebody or to the world. And you breathe out, visualizing the breath rolling down the right arm, out through the right arm to the recipient or recipients. And you visualize that breath being a rose gold vape that smells beautiful and is carrying the very essence of your loveliness, your beautiful kindness that's in your heart. And I would say that would in turn that you can assume that that's going to kind of roll all the way around your energy channels and boost the whole system just from doing that. Providing you remember on the in-breath to breathe sort of kindness in through the left hand and let it fill your heart. So that's the exercise. You breathe in through the left hand, all the kindness there is in the universe, the primordial essence of kindness, into your heart, and then you breathe out from the heart down the right arm, out through the right hand to the world, the universe, wherever you like, breathing out that multiplied by your love. Would that suffice? Would that be nice? Can I read out one here? That I got one. I did ask her permission, but I don't know if I got the answer. I won't say her name. But hi, Barefoot. Good to hear the fight for love still goes on. Here in Newcastle upon Tyne, most of the crew do not know that this time is of great importance. How could they, since they have been lied to, since their timeline was constructed by a force which sought really domination and destruction under the cover of Christianity. It's all coming through loud and clear, and I am now charged with the role of devil. How they lied and still do interest me in my new role. I want to see a world where the Christian church tells the truth before it's too late. Currently, I am working on an article to express the idea that the working classes are an oppressed group who do not understand they are being enslaved. I have made all the connections, and my anger at those who seek to lie, even now, is great. My love for the people still left is as great. I hope we can all come together to break down those walls of resistance once and for all. I will look forward to being with you guys later. So wish we were all with you in Ibiza, I guess you mean. You are. Send love and force to us who have been left in the cold. Thanks, Bev. I always knew you were special. Special, you said. I am special. All those who have woken people up are the stars of this new age. Love and best. I won't say your name, Wendy, because I don't want to embarrass you in case you want me to. But anyway, that is a lovely email, and I really, really, I get it. I really, really do. You know, you want that organisation to turn on its head and say, sorry, we were lying, blah, blah, blah. But I don't think that's going to happen, really, not quickly. What you've got to focus on, if you want to focus on that organisation, is the really beautiful, enlightened, kind practitioners of Christianity, of whom there are many, 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 many wonderful, beautiful souls who work within that idiom and do so with an open heart and an open mind. And if you really want to work that organisation over, go through them, really, I'd say, from the inside. Because there are some really beautiful people in that world, and it's not all nice and horrible. And the other thing is to maybe come out of that view and look at the whole spectrum. Firstly, we can't assume that the crew in Newcastle upon Tyne are not aware. I can't assume as I walk down the street in Ibiza where everybody looks like they're in a trance of narcissism, that they are in a trance of narcissism. Now, they might not be. They might all be enlightened saints. I don't know. So we can't assume that. We don't know. And we can assume, though, that however entranced somebody appears to be, the key to unlock the angel in them is never really far away. It's always very close. I find it again and again and again. When I'm with people who seem to be the biggest idiots in the world, if I can find, I can't always do it, sometimes I give up, like with that guy on the boat, I can't be bothered. But if I can find the key, it doesn't take usually long to unlock, and there you have the angel again. It's a beautiful thing. We must remember this. We mustn't do an us and them. It's very tempting. It's always so tempting. But that is perpetuating the same resistance that you want to break the wall down from. So really what we've got to do is let this kindness spread, and it dissolves all walls, because they're all illusory and imaginary anyway, or they will be before very long. I hope that's helpful to you and to everybody listening, because it did spark up quite a few things in me, that one.
And the person who sent that email is on the call. I thought I'd let you know, Stephen.
Good.
As is Helen from Portland, Oregon, who, commenting on your thoughts on the terrible tragedy on the boat, said, I felt similarly this week hearing about 52,000 unaccompanied minors crossing into the US over the past year from the south. How bad must things be for a parent to send their child off to better things alone? And how will we welcome these children into the US, hopefully with kindness and love?
Yeah, we hope so, eh? We hope so. That's it, isn't it? When Helen, thank you for that, isn't it? We've got to keep spreading this kindness. It's the only way, because it will spread all the way through to the government and the people who make decisions in the media and everyone else. So I'm not saying we're going to make everyone kind. It doesn't work like that. But the more of us that we can turn on, the better. And that's our mission now, I think.
Geraldine says, "Hi Doc, I try to do a daily loving kindness practice intending safety and happiness and well-being for whoever, but especially those who trouble me, rub my fur the wrong way. It feels good, but it doesn't quite extinguish the hurt and resentment as I hope. I am too impatient, or can I do something more? P.S. Wish I'd been on the volcano one day." Geraldine.
Geraldine, I bet there were moments you wished you were not on that volcano, actually. It's quite ferocious, I think. Gosh, what were you saying? What was that? Sorry, I just got lost in the volcano there. I almost fell down the magma.
She was saying that although she does a daily loving kindness practice, it doesn't quite extinguish the hurt and resentment as she hopes. Is she too impatient, or can she do something more?
Geraldine, I have this, we all do, don't we? I mean, I have been wronged rather severely in my life, and I have had quite a hard time. It's taking a lot of time to get to a place where I can to forgive in the sense of not holding the desire for vengeance. That was relatively quick, like not wanting, knowing that people who wrong me do tend to get really horrible karma, and not wishing on them as well. Just like whatever is needed, as gentle as possible. So not wanting her to go to them, but then still feeling that, how could you have done that thing? Takes a while. You can't rush it, I think. You just bit by bit, your heart opens up to it. And we've got to be honest with ourselves with this. I think we can't kid ourselves that we're being saintly, open-hearted, loving people, and we're not, because that's kind of tends to lead to weird behaviour and people doing really odd things. So it's really important to acknowledge, I still have this feeling here, but I'm working on it. Slowly but surely I'm working on it, and it will take all the time it needs to take. I think as long as we know we're on it, and we have the intention to heal that, then that's okay. We'll be helped on our way with it. We're not expected to make it happen all in one go. It's not possible.
Joanne is here from Canada, and she says, "Beautiful and touching, lots of challenges in service and being kind wisely and empathically. Does this angel need kindness? Does this angel receive kindness?"
Was there more than that? Does this angel need kindness? Does this angel receive kindness?
Yes.
I feel it more and more, working with people who are in relatively severely distressed states, mental states. It's so clear that if I can help them see that what they really are is an angel who's been really hurt and therefore damaged a bit, and it's time to mend that damage and pop back into that angel form, that they weren't wrong to assume that the world was all messed up and that they had all their stuff they did to try and make it better that was all kind of, illogical or whatever, that they were right to do that. And I think that when we can see that angel in the other and we can help it come out, it is the most important thing to do. There's a guy there at the mental health centre who was in such a state, I can't tell you. He's diagnosed as dangerous psychotic. He'd done some really crazy stuff in his life. He was quite battered. He'd been in an institution a long time and couldn't really walk properly. He could walk. It wasn't a physical thing. He was shuffled though, and he wouldn't look and really very, very long. He was quite disturbed in his facial expression. It took a while for us to strike a rapport with him, to trust me, and then I started working with him on changing his posture, like we were doing in the meditation, and showing him physically how it was to be back inside, and worked with him until he looked like an angel. He really looked like an angel. He went from being a dangerous psychotic mental patient into being a full-on angel. I said, "See, Aaron, you're an angel." He said, I feel it, and he did. And from that time on, he has been completely different. And I wouldn't say he's always out of the thing he was in, but he's totally different now. He walks upright, his chest is upright, he smiles at me in the canteen, we have a hug, and all that kind of stuff. He says thank you at the end of the session. I think I might have said all this before, but it is remarkable. But by seeing the angel in the other, it will come out, and then when it does, the healing takes place all itself.
Chrissy says, thank you so much, you dear, wonderful man. Recently I've been experiencing a few difficulties with a couple of women who seem to want to rock happy me, no matter how hard I've been trying to be kind. It's been a little painful. Thank you. You are medicine and a beautiful balm of love and reason. I love you.
You beautiful woman, I tell you what, you are just a mirror. I'm a mirror of yours. Knowing you and knowing how utterly beautiful you are to look at, and lovely as lovely as you look, you lovely person. I'm sure it's envy. I'm sure you'll find that's envy, and it's one of those things. It's just a really sad thing. It happens that gets in the way of stuff, and it happens with everybody. It's not just pretty people, rich people, successful people, talented people. Not even, it doesn't matter. People just get like that, and sometimes we just have to remove ourselves from their company, or vice versa, for a while, and let the thing kind of take its course, let them go through their processes that they've got to go through. And use it, I think, as a sign that there must be something in us that is a bit envious of somebody or something, or potentially, or but just to root out any envy that's going on inside of us, because it would reflect that there is, or that there's a part of us that resents the other part of us enjoying itself. Maybe look at that. But there's definitely some kind of message in there coming from them. If you thank them like Buddhas in disguise for coming along to teach you that, the message will reveal itself. But you don't have to hang out with them. This is the important thing to remember. We're not obliged to do that. We're allowed to move out of people's orbits and vice versa, for as long as we wish to.
Okay, I've got several more comments for you here, Stephen. Malkit says, thank you, Stephen. Wonderful and inspirational as ever. Thank you with love.
Thank you with love too, Malkit. You're always wonderful and inspirational too. You're a stalwart. Thank you.
Rabinda says, so beautiful. Your honesty helps me so much, and I feel so open and full of love and in more of a position to help others and spread the kindness.
Oh, that's beautiful. Rabinda, that's it, isn't it? It's hard, though. It's a hard process, learning this, how to be real. It's a process. But it's actually a beautiful one as we kind of grow more and more into ourselves, and slowly but surely it's like we pop back into shape, and it's such a relief to be able to. I'm not saying it's going to be 100%. I know it won't, because it can't be. There's always the yin and the yang. There's always the bit you're going to hide away a bit, because just that's how it is. But with most of us firing off, honestly, to the others, it just makes it all so much more beautiful, the whole ride. So thank you for saying that.
Ross says, I believe we just set off a love bomb to rival 1,000 million Hiroshimas. Bless all.
Yeah, I'm right with you, man. Bless you out there in Seoul. And I was thinking, it's funny, you must have been connecting with me, because I've been having Seoul kept coming in my mind all day for no reason. And yeah, a good place for us to drop a bit of a love bomb over there, isn't it? Because it can spread through Asia for us all. Which is good, isn't it? Thank you for saying.
Isabella says, magnificent heart-centered session, Doc. So good to be in your beautiful presence again. You truly are a gift to us all.
Well, you're a gift, Isabella. It's lovely of you to say. Blow a kiss to New York from me. It's lovely. Wow, this is so amazing, isn't it? We're really here all around the world. It's mad. It's fantastic. Oh, how amazing. Thank you.
And Jess says, so all you need is love.
Yeah, it depends what level you want to go. I mean, yeah, I could give you a much longer list than that. But I would say that the first thing you do need is to be able to love being alive. That's the first one, isn't it? Like, just to get the perspective, keep coming back to that. I am alive, and I'm loving being alive. Just being alive, just being here, in my back, looking out at this, its existence, its exciting. I haven't got everything I want, apparently. There's things I want to go chasing. There's things I need to avoid, all that stuff we do to ourselves. That's all going on in the front, but in the back, sit here and I go, this is beautiful, I'm alive, thank you. And if I can keep remembering that, all the rest of it somehow just falls more into place, more easily. Yeah.
Gabby says, that really was so powerful, thank you. I feel the heightened power and instigation of these manifestations when my tears come spontaneously. I found that this is a sure sign the arrow hit the bullseye, and as the volcano of kindness erupted, my tears erupted from my eyes and heart with the pink gold flow. I'm excited now to experience the flow back. I'm experiencing it more and more in almost every daily interaction, and feel the evolution of what we do here. Thank you again for your beautiful heart. The healing is in the pain. Flow, flow, flow. With love, Gabby.
Oh, that's lovely. Yeah, I was saying to my friend George Lamb a couple of days ago, you know George Lamb, he's a TV guy, beautiful man. I was saying about a thing I fear. So we were talking about this whole issue about, do you let go, be the holy man for real? Do you just give it? Do you just let it roll? Or do you have to be like a marketing person and keep like cover it, you know, my bit, my bit. And he was saying, no man, of course you've got to just let it go. You just got to let it go, let it go, let it go. And I say, no, the thing I fear, really, the thing that kind of blocks my flow is the fear of inconvenience. So say I got kind of completely, was the wandering sardy with nothing but a begging bowl. Well, what happens if I can't use a mobile phone? What happens if I can't use a credit card? Blah, 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 and all that stuff. And he said, yeah man, but inconvenience, that is what you grow through. It's really that. It's the inconvenience is what makes you grow. So welcome it. No big deal. And it's important, isn't it? We have the courage to face whatever it is we're afraid of. And just roll with it. Just roll with it. It's all going to be very deep, I know that.
Lita asks, any tips on staying in the flow of a situation for longer when the brain says step back and rationalise what is happening?
Yeah, I think, hi Niti, I think it is about being in your back. I think it really is that, just because they call it the backward flowing motion. It's sort of one of the big secrets of Taoism, backward flowing motion. And it has sort of various aspects, one of which is actually letting yourself flow backwards and backwards and backwards and backwards and backwards and backwards and get bigger and bigger and bigger, go faster and faster and faster until you're the whole universe, which we've done here before. But generally, on a more practical level, it means flowing backwards into the back constantly. Just keep yourself flowing back into the back. You will be drawn forwards, but like the brain, in the front of the brain, is saying, come on, you need to sort this out, you need to analyse what's going on, blah, blah, as it always does. Yeah, bearing in mind, the front of the brain, the basic subtext of the internal dialogue, something I'm examining constantly, which I'm trying to bring down to its level. As far as I can see at the moment, is, am I a winner or am I a loser? Am I winning or am I losing? That's all it's about, the whole thing. And that's why the brain will say, you need to come forwards and sort of separate what you're losing here. And it's that dropping into the back, knowing that you've won already, because you're here. That's it. You've won the prize. There's no winning and losing. And just to breathe and keep letting go, breathe and keep letting go, backwards and backwards. The heart stays open and receive the other at the soul level, rather than come and meet them in the drama.
A couple more comments. Jamie says, thank you so much, Barefoot, and everyone else present. That was beautiful.
You're very welcome, Johnny. Thank you. It's beautiful of you to say so, sir. Thank you.
And Joanne says, love all this love here, love to all of you, feeling the energy, the chi, the blessings here. I'm alive and loving my aliveness right now.
Yeah, it's good. We're a family, aren't we? This is it. We're feeling it. This is the family. And it's not bullshit love, you know. This isn't the like kind of being nice love. This is real. This is it. This is what we're doing. We are the channels of this love. We couldn't do a higher thing today, really.
Wendy says she feels restored with this wonderful circle of light and love.
Oh, good. Wendy, I'm assuming you're Wendy of Wendy. The letter I read out, that was very powerful, what you said, and I'm really glad that you feel restored by it. That's perfect.
Afka, with a deep sigh, says, I thank you for everything.
Afka, with a deep sigh, I say you are utterly, utterly welcome. Bless your heart.
Okay, we've got two final questions. This one is from David, who says, I never get tired of saying how much these satsangs have been helpful. Thank you so much. How can one learn patience?
David, well, yeah, that's a contradiction, right? Because you never tire. It means you've already learnt patience. If you can never tire of constantly saying thank you, which I will never tire of saying, I really appreciate your thanks and you're utterly welcome. It means you already know about patience. And I think the patience develops through slow breathing, through basically undoing the body's habitual reactions to the misguided belief that we've got to rush all the time, which will be physical tension, muscular tension, holding the breath, and shallow, fast breathing. So those, for a start, you undo, or you reverse, you breathe slowly, you don't hold your breath, obviously, you relax your muscles, and then that coming into the back when you come into the back, it'll only be for moments. Don't have to stay there all day. It's not possible to stay there long anyway. You just got to keep going backwards and forwards. But every time you come into the back, just take a moment to realise, it's not even a reminder, it's like everything is right. But right now, nothing is lacking. In this moment, it is all fine. And that's the best we can do. And then know that destiny will bring you everything that you need that's in your path. So there's not really anything to be patient or impatient about. With other people, it's a balance of being compassionate and guiding them along, letting them go at their own pace. And if it's really getting in your way, then finding kind but firm ways of hurrying them up. I can't give the next thing for example, obviously, but I think patience comes from slowing the breathing down and remembering that we've already got the prize. There's really nothing to rush for. And as a absolutely ingenious, genius guy I met the other day called Gustavo, Argentinian, looks like Einstein, thinks like Einstein, genius. He said, and explained it very carefully for a long time, that we have all the time in the world. And I won't go into the explanation. It's just a lovely thought. We have all time in the world. Just go with that one. Keep saying that to yourself. I know it runs counterintuitive, but if you repeat it a few times and you start getting a sense of it, even if it's illogical, which it isn't actually, it really is helpful, I find, to have all the time in the world.
Okay, this last question is from Diana, who says, "Hi Barefoot, is it possible to be taken advantage of by being kind?"
Diana, yes, I can emphatically say it is. I have been so many times and will be surprised if I'm not so again. But I have a feeling that people who are unkind get taken advantage of as well. I don't think it's just kind people. This is just a theory that I'm working on. I think maybe being taken advantage of, it's just like when you're playing Monopoly, everybody occasionally picks up the go back to pay 200 and go back to go thing. And I think that's what it is. But when the clearer we get about our boundaries and what is acceptable and what isn't in ourselves, and clearer we get about our entitlement to have people cooperate with us and play fair with us, the less advantage they seem to take. I'll confirm that when I get paid the money by somebody that I really am surprised is not paying me on time. For example, that thing, I don't know really, but anyway, I'd say it's worth it, even if you do get taken advantage of a bit, because so what? I mean, really, as long as we can keep rolling, life will balance it up for us, and the kindness is the most important thing, because if we're living like that, we've got the gift, we've got the beauty of being at one with our family, and we know that all these things will be, what was lost will be restored, what was taken will be returned, what is broken will be repaired. It just is that way. And have that as an affirmation, it really helps. What was lost is now restored. What was taken is now returned. What was broken is now repaired. Well, thank you, everybody. I have not got my head around when our next ones are going to start. It won't be too long in the future. Just need a little bit of time to regather and regroup and let things shift a bit. They're going to after this sequence. The last 5 sessions have been extraordinarily powerful, and I don't know when magic will work, so I can't figure it out. It all has this weird timings, and I do know that a lot of it happens a lot more slowly than we'd like it to. And so there is a sort of a 90-day effect. What we've been doing, whether you've been coming to them all or not, doesn't matter. What we've been doing is building up a proper charge of what you could call magic, and it has been released, and it's been released with the most beautiful energy and the greatest clarity and purity of heart. And it is going to go out, and it's already doing it. It's moving out around the world, and it will return multiplied to each of us, and it will do so in waves, just as we sent it out in waves. And each wave will bring us the greater and greater slew of blessings, each in our own what's appropriate to each of us, and it is going to be beautiful. So it's important to keep awake to what's going on in that sense and be thankful for it, and it will grow stronger and more magnificent. This much I can predict, and I will let you know. We'll let you know as soon as we know when the next ones are going to be. But I'll be thinking of you, and you, me, I know, and we're connecting. We're still connecting. It doesn't matter. We're connecting anyway. The magic is still growing. Thank you. Bless you. I love you. And bye-bye.
remembering